When you step away from someone you care about, apathy turns into a deep, unsettling longing that surprises them. When you're not there, your name keeps playing in their mind, making them act in ways that reveal their hidden desires. Suddenly, everything they do is linked to thoughts of you, as if your absence had cast a spell that stoked a fire of longing within them. Today, we're going to talk about a powerful Stoic strategy called the art of purposeful distance. These steps aren't just a strategy. They'll help you understand your own worth and help others recognize theirs through your absence. As Sebastiani wisely said, to make them miss you, you must give them the gift of your absence. By stepping away on purpose, you create a space for reflection that lets them face the reality of what they've lost. But before we go any further, let's strengthen our resolve with an affirmation. Leave it in the comments. I'm sure that my worth will show that you're interested and ready for changes that matter. Don't forget to like and sign up to learn more about the interesting worlds of relationships and Stoicism. First, she makes more contact. When a woman starts to miss you, it's almost instinctive for her to start reaching out more often. This may seem obvious at first, but there's more going on than just sending more texts or calls. When a woman starts to miss you, it's like a piece of her world feels missing. She might not even be aware of it at first, but your absence creates an emptiness, and she tries to fill it by making contact. But this isn't just any conversation. She's trying to rekindle the connection she now knows is important to her happiness. For example, you've stepped back and given her some space, and all of a sudden she starts to feel the weight of your absence. It starts with a fleeting thought of, "What's he up to?" This thought grows, and before she knows it, she's sending you messages all day, each one a small attempt to bridge the emotional distance. It's interesting that she might not even know why she's doing it. On the surface, it may look like friendly check-ins, but she's really longing for the connection she misses. From a Stoic point of view, we see this as normal human behavior. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it. When she starts to miss you, her reaction is to reach out to listen more closely to what you say, to ask more about your life. She wants to feel closer to you, and through conversation, she finds comfort in the bond you once shared. You might notice her sending seemingly random messages like sharing a funny video or telling you about a dream. These messages may seem trivial, but they're not. They're a way of keeping the connection alive, ensuring you're thinking about her just as much as she's thinking about you. When you pull back, she begins to realize your worth in her life, where once your presence might have been taken for granted. Now there's a void, and she's trying to fill it. Every text, every call is a quiet reminder that she misses you, even if she doesn't come out and say it directly. So if you notice her initiating contact more often, understand that it's more than just a desire to talk. It's a sign that your absence has left an imprint, you've made an impact. And now she's doing whatever she can to bring you back into her life as a Stoic. Remember that your worth doesn't depend on how often you chase her, but on the lasting impression you leave when you're not around. Let her come to you when she realizes that you're someone she's truly missing. 2. She becomes more interested in your life. Have you ever noticed how someone's interest in you suddenly rises after you've been absent? It's not just because they want to check in, it's deeper than that. When a woman starts to miss you, she doesn't just guess what you're doing, she becomes very interested in every aspect of your life. Stoicism tells us that what holds meaning for us in this moment is what fills our minds. She is becoming more interested in you, which is a strong sign that you are on her mind a lot. Imagine that you are living your life with purpose, enjoying moments of joy, and focusing on new hobbies or accomplishments. You have adopted the Stoic theory of focusing on what you can control and keeping working to improve yourself. Suddenly, you become aware of Noti. She's the first person to respond to your posts and comments on your activities with things like, "That looks amazing," or "When did you start doing that?" It's not just polite conversation. It's her way of trying to stay connected and feel like she's still a part of your life, even though she's not there anymore. Marcus Aurelius said that a person's soul takes on the color of their thoughts. Right now, all she can think about is you. She starts to ask questions she never asked before, digging into the details of your day, your plans and your goals. She's doing this because she's trying to figure out where she fits in your world, and if you've moved on leaving her behind. Her interest may also show up in more subtle ways. She might like an old picture of you on social media by accident, or she might be constantly checking your stories to see what you're up to and who you're with. It's like she's turned into her own spy and is trying to figure out what's going on. Tips from the things you do online. Trying to figure out if you miss her too is a standard move that many of us have seen before. It also shows that someone misses you because they'll keep an eye on your life even when they're not there. You're enjoying life with good company when all of a sudden you get a message from her. "How's your day going?" she asks out of the blue. It's not a chance that she sends you this message. It's her subtle way of getting into your thoughts in the hopes that you might be missing her too. Life isn't just about being curious. It's also about wanting to stay connected, even if it's just through a text. This is where Stoicism comes in. As she watches you live with purpose, joy, and resilience, she might realize what she's really missing. What started as an interest can turn into a deeper longing for the times when she played a central role in your world. In your absence, she starts to understand the value of your presence, a presence that can't be easily replaced. As Epictetus taught us, we can't choose the things that happen to us, but we can always choose how we react to them. Your answer should be to keep living your life to the fullest and keep growing and shining. Let her interest serve as a reminder of how much of an effect you've had by focusing on your growth. You're not just playing games, you're showing her your worth through your actions, not your words. That's a clear sign that a woman misses you when she becomes interested in your life again. Her questions and interest are her way of trying to find a way back to you because she knows she can't forget you. It's not about manipulating her, it's about letting her learn on her own that your presence is valuable and irreplaceable. As we wrap up, remember to live without regret and keep growing. Let her curiosity remind you of the impact you've had. As the Stoics say, live your life so that when you're absent, your presence is still felt. Keep going, and in time she will realize that missing you was inevitable. If someone misses you, they don't just remember any memory. They remember the times when you were the center of their world. This is important to remember because when they're thinking about you, your presence becomes even stronger. For example, she might be sitting alone on her phone, casually scrolling through photos, when she suddenly comes across a picture of the two of you. It could be from a weekend getaway, a snapshot of a quiet evening together, or even a playful selfie that captured a simple but joyful moment. Suddenly, she's transported back to that time, remembering the laughter, the connection, and the feeling of being with you. You become the center of her thoughts, the person she sees she really misses, because, as the Stoics say, value doesn't come from having a lot of things, it comes from knowing what's important. Epictetus said that wealth is not having many things, but having few wants. When she thinks about those memories, it's not just nostalgia, it's realizing that your presence, which she once took for granted, has become something she wants very much. Each memory reminds her of the happiness and comfort you brought into her life, and your absence makes her want you even more. We all take walks down memory lane sometimes, but when she does, it's not just a stroll. It's full of feelings. She might laugh at the inside jokes that only the two of you knew, or she might long for the simplicity of the times when you were by her side. These reflections often bring clarity, making her realize that the happiness she felt with you was real, and that maybe she let go of something valuable too soon. But here's where things get even more interesting. Those memories don't just stay in her mind, they often make her do something. She might send you a message that says, "Hey, remember when we..." as a subtle way to see if you're still thinking about her the same way she's thinking about you. She could send you a funny meme that reminds her of an inside joke, or bring up a shared experience in an effort to rekindle that connection, her way of trying to recreate a future with you. Now think about it from her perspective. Every song she hears, that you both enjoyed, every place you used to go together, or even the scent of a favorite food can bring her back to those shared moments. Each reminder becomes a longing, a realization that life feels incomplete without those experiences, and that's when your true value shines in her eyes. These reflections often push her to take that step, whether it's sending a message or making an effort to bring you back into her life. So, how should you respond when she reaches out? Keep it light, playful and genuine. Let her reminisce, but there's no need to dive deep into the past, unless you want to. Acknowledging those moments with a smile can gently remind her of the connection you once had. But remember, those shared memories aren't just remnants of what once was. They're the foundation of what could be. Again, when she reaches out, it's not just about rekindling old memories. It's about realizing that the person she misses is the one who made her feel the happiest. The Stoics teach us that we shouldn't chase what we desire, but allow it to come to us naturally. When she reflects on those memories, it's a sign that she's beginning to recognize that value in you. And if you've ever been in this situation, or you know someone who has, leave a comment with the words "treasure the shared moments." It's a reminder that these memories aren't just in the past, they're still alive today, and they carry meaning. Let her miss you, let her come to appreciate the impact you had on her life, because when she does, it's more than just nostalgia. It's her realizing that she's still thinking about you now, even more than before. Number 4, signs of jealousy. You might be thinking if jealousy isn't a bad feeling, but let's study feelings in more depth. Sometimes jealousy is a sign that someone misses you. When a woman feels jealousy, her mind is telling her, "I don't like the idea of you being happy without me." She can't help but feel this way when she thinks that your life is moving on without her. This is where Stoicism can help us see things more clearly. Imagine that you're out there living life and trying new things. You share a happy moment with friends by posting a picture of yourself on social media, maybe hiking a trail or having a meal at a restaurant you used to go to together. When she sees it, that familiar feeling of jealousy comes back. She might not say it out loud, but she feels uncomfortable. This is what jealousy is all about. A reminder of the void you leave behind and the fear of losing something valuable, in this case, you. As the wise Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you that matters, but how you respond to it." She's jealous because she knows she misses you more than she thought she would. When she suddenly realizes that you're moving on with your life without her, her behavior starts to change. She may become interested in who you're spending time with, or make light-hearted but loaded comments like, "Trying out new places without me, huh?" It's half joking, half serious, but it's also her subconscious telling you that she misses the connection she used to have with you. This is where Stoicism comes in and helps us understand this dynamic even better. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When a woman misses you, her thoughts start to color how she sees everything, especially when those thoughts are tinged with jealousy. She might not even realize it at first, but every interaction and glimpse of your life without her amplifies those feelings. Her mind is fixed on what she's lost, and that's when jealousy shows up as a sign that she wishes she could be a part of those moments again. To keep things light-hearted, let's say you're out at a trendy new restaurant, enjoying a delicious meal and posting a picture of the experience. Suddenly, you get a message that says, "Dining without me." It seems like a joke, but it's really a reflection of how she feels. She's watching your life unfold without her, and it stirs something deep inside her. It's not just about feeling insecure. She's also aware that she misses the connection. Even if her first reaction seems small, a comment here, a question there, these are all signs that she's thinking about you more than she'd like to admit. This is the Stoic way to look at jealousy, seeing it as an emotional response to your absence and her awareness that you're doing well without her. What does this mean for you? If you see signs of jealousy, don't dismiss them as negative. Instead, see them as clear signs that she misses you. Her subtle responses come from the fact that your presence had a big effect on her life, and you still have an effect on her in ways she can't ignore now that you're gone. Remember that jealousy is often a reflection of her unspoken emotions, like wanting to be back in your life. So keep living your best life, enjoy the freedom that comes with moving on, and remember that sometimes being missed is the best proof of your worth. As you walk this path with Stoic wisdom, let this reminder fuel your self-confidence. You are irreplaceable, and your absence speaks volumes about the value you bring to others. 5. She drops subtle hints. Have you ever noticed those small, almost imperceptible signs that seem to lead you back into someone's life without them having to say, "I miss you"? When a woman misses you, she doesn't always say, "I miss you." Instead, she's quiet and careful, leaving clues for you to pick up on. These hints aren't just random actions. They're carefully thought-out moves meant to see how you react without her having to say it out loud. Say how she feels she's testing the waters of keeping her mystery alive, while hoping you'll pick up on her signals without her having to say anything. Imagine this. She posts old photos on social media of the two of you laughing, being happy, and being in sync. Or maybe she randomly likes an old post from years ago that you both had probably forgotten about. Is that just a coincidence? No, it's not. It's her way of bringing up those shared memories and asking you in silence, "Do you remember the good times we had?" It's her nudge, her gentle way of asking if those times still mean anything to you. She's planting nostalgia seeds and waiting to see if you'll water them with a stiff answer. This behavior shows something deeper. The way people react to life's events tells us more about who they are than the events themselves. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. In this case, she is responding to your absence with patience and thought. Instead of asking for attention directly, she's sending you subtle cues, trusting that you'll pick them up. Being mindful of your emotions without letting them control you is a Stoic practice that fits with this method. She's not acting out or being overly emotional. Instead, she's letting you know that she's been thinking about you in a quiet and planned way. Stoicism teaches us that the smallest actions often speak the biggest. Missing someone isn't always about big gestures or dramatic statements. Rather, it's usually the quietest actions that carry the most emotional weight. If a woman misses you, she won't shout it from the streets. Instead, she'll leave you a trail of clues, almost like a puzzle to figure out. These movements may not look like much, but she's carefully putting thought into them, crafting a message that only someone who truly understands her will be able to decode. And here's the thing. When you catch on to these signals, you realize just how much thought and effort she's putting into them. She may appear nonchalant on the surface, but beneath that calm exterior, there's a lot of emotional investment in each post, each like, each message. It's her way of quietly letting you know that you're still on her mind without having to risk being too vulnerable. So the next time you see her post a nostalgic photo like an old memory or share a song that hits a little too close to home, Take a moment to recognize the deeper meaning behind those actions. She's missing you, but in the quiet most stoic way possible, without words, but with intent. Stay alert, my friends, because those breadcrumbs might just lead you back to a connection that's worth reigniting. Whether you decide to respond or not, know that her subtle signals speak volumes about how much you still mean to her. Number 6. She becomes more emotionally open. Imagine this for a moment. When a woman who used to seem distant, guarded, and uninterested starts to show her feelings, you might wonder if this is really happening. The woman who was so hard to read is now showing how she feels. Yes, that's exactly what happens when she starts to miss you. The emotional walls she built up so high start to fall down, letting what she kept hidden come to the surface. Imagine her reaching out to you late at night, her voice softer, her words more open. She might send you a song that reminds her of the time you spent together, or talk about a memory that she can't stop thinking about. It's as if your absence has opened something in her, letting her realize that you meant more to her than she let on. This emotional openness isn't just a random event. As the Stoics teach, everything we experience is shaped by our thinking. This big change shows how much your presence or lack of it has affected her. Marcus Aurelius said that the quality of your thoughts determines the happiness of your life. When she misses you, she doesn't think about the everyday things, but about the deeper connection she once felt with you. These thoughts start to take over her mind, filling her with emotions she may not have fully understood before. The longing, regret, and memories start to blend into a powerful force that pushes her to reach out. It's like she's finally realizing what's been building beneath the surface. But don't mistake this for simple loneliness. This isn't about filling a void. It's about her realizing how important you are in her life. She's missing more than just the comfort of your presence. She's missing the security, understanding, and emotional depth you brought into her world. Your absence becomes a mirror that shows her how important you are. Even the most independent person can feel the weight of loss when someone important is gone. What does this mean for you? It's a strong sign that your presence had an undeniable effect. Her emotional openness shows how deeply you connected with her. You changed her life in a way that goes beyond the surface. And now that you're gone, she realizes how much you really meant to her. This isn't about seeking approval, but about recognizing the strength and value you bring to any relationship. Take heart in the fact that your absence can be just as important as your presence. When her emotional walls come down, it's because she's accepted how deeply you've affected her. Keep your mind clear and your thoughts steady, and let her weakness serve as a reminder of how valuable you are. She makes a promise to grow as a person. Ever wonder what makes someone suddenly become obsessed with? When you figure out what she's trying to say, you realize how much thought and work she's putting into it. She may seem uninterested on the outside, but there's a lot of emotion behind every post, like, and message. It's her way of letting you know that she's still thinking about you without being too open. So the next time she posts a photo of an old memory or a song that hits too close to home, take a moment to understand what she's really meaning. She's missing you in the quietest, most stoic way possible, without words, but with intent. Friends, stay alert, because those crumbs could lead you back to a connection that's worth rekindling. Whether you reply or not, know that her subtle signals tell you a lot about how much she still cares about you. Number 6. She becomes more emotionally open. Think about this for a moment. You might wonder if this is real when a woman who used to seem cold, guarded, and uninterested starts to show how she feels. The tough woman is now letting you know how she feels. When she starts to miss you, yes, those emotional walls she built up so high start to fall down, letting what she thought she had hidden come to the surface. Picture her calling you late at night with a softer voice and more honest words. She could send you a song that makes her think of the times you spent together, or talk about a memory that she can't get out of her mind. She seems to have realized that you meant more to her than she let on since you've been gone. Being emotionally open isn't just happening by chance. According to the Stoics, everything we go through is shaped by how we think about it. This big change shows how much she has changed because of you or not being there. Marcus Aurelius said that how happy you are in life depends on the thoughts you have. She doesn't think about daily things when she misses you. Instead, she remembers how close she used to feel to you. She starts to feel things she might not have fully understood before as these thoughts take over her mind. She feels like she needs to reach out because of the strong force that comes from longing, sorrow, and memories. She seems to finally understand what has been going on below the surface. But don't think this is just being lonely. She needs to know how important you are in her life, not just how to fill a void. For her, missing you means more than just being close to you. It means missing the safety, understanding, and emotional depth you gave her. The fact that you're not there shows her how important you are. Even the most independent person can feel sad when someone important is gone. What does this mean for you? This is a strong sign that your presence made a difference that can't be denied. How open she was about her feelings shows how much you connected with her. Beyond what she could have imagined, you changed her life. Now that you're gone, she knows how much you meant to her. That's not why you're doing this. It's to see how strong and valuable you are in any relationship. Not being there can be just as important as being there, so don't worry. There are times when her mental walls come down because she's been accepted, the way you've hurt her so much. Make sure your thoughts are stable and clear, and let her weakness show you how important you are. She promises to become a better person. Ever think about what someone can't stop thinking about: self-help and growth? When they miss you, it's not a coincidence. Here's why. When a woman really misses you, she starts to think about what she could have done better, makes you think deeply, which often leads to personal growth. Imagine her scrolling through social media by herself, and each post brings back memories of times she spent with you. In her solitude, she starts to see the little ways she failed, the times she didn't put her best foot forward. It's like a light bulb goes off, and she starts to think, what if I had been better? This is where Stoicism comes in, because Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. The same thing happens here. When she misses you, she starts to realize that she needs to master herself, whether it's her habits, her mindset, or even her emotional responses, not only to get you back but also for her own self-worth. She might start healthier habits like going to the gym or learning new skills. She'll start to pursue interests she didn't care about before in an effort to become someone you'd respect and admire. Picture this. All of a sudden she's talking about Stoic principles, practicing mindfulness, or going to the gym regularly. She might even quote Marcus Aurelius or Epictetus like it's nothing. Just a few weeks ago, she couldn't tell a Stoic from a Starbucks barista. But here's the thing. This transformation shows how much she values what she had with you. She's reflecting on her life and trying to become the person who can match the high standards you've set, someone who can stand by your side as an equal. But let's not get too caught up in her journey alone. This is about you as well. Her growth is a reflection of the high standards you've set for yourself. If she's trying to catch up to you, that's because you've continued to push forward, evolving and becoming the best version of yourself. You're the one she's striving to match, so don't slow down. Continue on your path, because you deserve someone who not only misses you, but works to improve themselves in your absence. So if you see someone undergoing this transformation, don't be surprised. It's their way of saying they're serious about mending things and proving they're worth your time. And remember, this is also a reminder for you to keep growing. You never know who's watching, who's being inspired by your progress and working hard to become someone who can keep up with you. You stay strong, keep evolving, and let their self-improvement reflect the greatness they see in you. Number 8, she takes the initiative to reconnect. Imagine this. You've been living your life, staying focused on your goals, and then suddenly a message pops up. Hey, it's been a while. Let's meet up at first glance. This might seem like a casual invitation, but let's dive deeper. This is not just about grabbing a coffee. It's about something much bigger. It's about her feeling the impact of your absence and wanting to bring you back into her world. When a woman genuinely misses you, she doesn't just think about the good times, she takes action. She doesn't sit back and wait for things to happen. She reaches out because the space you left has created a void she's eager to fill. As the Stoics remind us, action is a reflection of intent. She's not simply reminiscing, she's actively trying to restore what's been lost. Seneca once said, "True happiness comes from being content with yourself by stepping away." You've shown that you are content on your own. That contentment, that inner strength makes your presence even more valuable when she initiates plans to see you. It's because she recognizes that her life lacks something without you in it. Let's be real. You might notice her suggesting activities you've talked about, but she never seemed interested in before. It could be that hiking trail you've always talked about, or that pottery class you brought up out of the blue. This new interest isn't a fluke. It's her way of closing the gap. When she tries to meet you where you are, even if it means trying things she never thought she'd do, it's a clear sign that she wants to try to rekindle the connection. Her actions show that your absence has left a mark, and she's ready to put in the work to bring you back into her life. In the world of Stoicism, we learn to value ourselves without needing constant validation from others. But when someone reaches out to you like this, it's important to recognize the importance of that effort. The Stoics taught that we should never chase people, but rather let our presence speak for itself. Because you're not there, she has a space in her life that she can't ignore when she makes plans. She's making her point clear. She really misses having you around and doesn't want to lose you. What does this mean for you? When she reaches out, it's not just about hanging out or catching up. It's about repairing the broken bond and showing you that she can't replace you. Remember that her desire to reconnect isn't just about filling the time, it's about filling the emotional gap. Your absence has made her want you back in her life, and she's making that clear through her actions. Stand your ground, stay true to your morals, and remember that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. Let her actions show you how much she misses you. Have you ever wondered if regret is a sign that someone really misses you? This is where things get interesting. When a woman really misses you, it's not just a passing thought, it's a deep realization. She starts to think about what went wrong, and that's when regret sets in. Imagine that she's by herself going through old messages, maybe looking at pictures of the two of you. At first it's just nostalgia, but then it hits her. She realizes she took you for granted, and all the little things she missed, or the times she didn't appreciate you. Enough come flooding back. She starts to regret every choice, every word, and every action that put distance between you two. You may even hear her say things like, "I should have treated you better," or "I wish I hadn't pushed you away." These aren't empty words. They're reflections of a painful awareness. She starts to understand what she lost now that you're gone. Her regret doesn't come from the fact that you're gone. It comes from how she now sees you, your true worth and value. With space and time, she gains clarity, and that's when she starts to see the whole picture. It's hard for her to take, but it's also a strong sign of how much she misses you. When a woman says she regrets your absence, it's a sure sign that you made her realize how much you changed her life. In this moment, your worth isn't based on being present, but on the emptiness you leave behind. That's when your true value is seen. So the next time she feels bad about missing you, know that it's because she didn't fully understand it before. Stay strong, because this is where your power lies. Keep your head up, because the best is yet to come, and remember that your value shines brightest when you're not there. As we come to the end of our study on the art of purposeful distance and how it affects relationships, we've learned that absence not only makes the heart grow fond, but it also shows how valuable we are to others and ourselves. By mastering the Stoic strategy of intentional withdrawal, we help those who miss us understand how deeply they feel and how valuable we are to their lives in every way, from making contact more often, to asking about our lives, to remember happy times spent together. These actions aren't just reactions, they show us how much they respect and want us. By understanding and using these ideas, along with the wisdom of Stoicism, we can navigate our relationships with more clarity and purpose, making sure that our presence always has an effect, no matter how close or far away we are. Let our silent community know what you think or what you've been through in the comments. Have you noticed changes in how people see and deal with you when you give them the gift of your absence? What have worked for you in terms of keeping your sense of self-worth while building stronger relationships? If you thought this video was helpful, please like and share it. For more talks about Stoicism and handling relationships, click here. Make sure to subscribe and watch the movies that are shown on your screen right now. Your participation helps us grow and keep giving you useful information. Let's keep looking into the deep lessons of Stoicism together. Thanks for watching, and remember to live a life that makes your loss felt, making your life and the lives of those around you better.